and on.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Business Express 981. Today, 5th of May, 2021. It's a Wednesday morning, and Rotus is here. My name is Valentine. Hi, Rotus. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Valentine. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everybody tuning in. Good to be with you again.
Yes, please join the conversation by sending messages to WhatsApp with your comments and observations on any story that interests you. The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. You can also send a message on YouTube as well, streaming live. So watch live on youtube.com/Smooth FM Lagos, or just type in the search box Smooth FM Lagos and hit subscribe button. Twitter is at Smooth981FM. The hashtag is Business Express 981. Rotus?
Yeah, so actually, Wednesdays, we also have personal finance in the evenings at 5:15. So but today's story has something to do with personal finance, where the federal government, apparently, according to the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, President Buhari has ordered Salaries and Wages, the Salaries and Wages Committee, to review payroll for public servants. She was herself, along with Ben Akabueze, who is the Director General of the Budget Office. They were at a policy dialogue in Abuja yesterday. It was hosted by the ICPC, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses. The policy dialogue title was Corruption and Cost of Governance in Nigeria. So she said that President Buhari has directed the Salaries and Wages Committee review payroll because looking at the 2021 budget, expenditure is amounting to about 41% of the 13.5 trillion naira that's been budgeted for this year, amounting to about 5.6 trillion. So she said that he's ordered this review. They're also looking at merging ministries, departments, and agencies. And look, have we not heard this before, right? Last year, May 2020, they said that by October of 2020, they would implement the Oronsayen report. The first time I was made aware of Smooth FM was now 10 years ago, yeah? We're in 2021, 2011, and I joined Freshly Pressed. It was when I first, Cheta, first time I got a wind of who Cheta was. Cheta was going on about the Oronsayen report 10 years ago, right? Now, where are we? This is 2021. He's leaving in 2 years. 6 years into his administration, the president is now saying, oh yeah, let's get the revenue and mobilization people to review payroll and reduce it. I don't know. Look, Benga Kamu, Yinka, how many of our listeners, whenever I bring up raising taxes, but the World Bank last year, I can't remember who the World Bank official for Nigeria is, Jenny something, said that Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio is one of the lowest in about 5 or 6%. And they said that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Nigeria can't afford to raise taxes on its citizens right now. But other things have to be done in order to revenue. The person was essentially referring to reducing expenses. Every time we talk about raising taxes, what our listeners come back with me is, Rotus, what about the cost of governance? They've been harping on cost of governance now for years. Ben Akabueze, Director General of the Budget Office, he didn't even mince his words. In fact, he said that recurrent expenditure has amounted to 75% of public spending since 2011. So you can't, capital expenditure has been under 2 trillion naira now for almost a decade. So how do you expect to build your infrastructure? How do you expect to pay police? How do you expect to even do anything when you've got, overheads that are gulping up majority of your small budget? You're calling yourself the African giant. Your 13.5 trillion budget is, what is that? About $32 billion. I mean, you go and look at Microsoft, Apple, their revenues dwarf what we have. I mean, so it's too small. So you already have a budget that is too small. Then you've got cost of governance that is, way too high. Ben Akabueze, the next thing he said, this was, considering the fact that he's still inside government, I consider this kind of radical. He called for a constitutional amendment, which is basically restructuring what everybody on the political side, what you talk about on Freshly Pressed almost every day. He called for it, He said replace the 36 states with geopolitical zones.
6. He recommended 6 geopolitical zones.
6 geopolitical zones. Let them all run themselves and let them be responsible for their own
revenue expenditure.
This central system that we have, it's not working. So I don't know, Val. I don't know how seriously you take this.
But really, that's what it is, and that's been mentioned over and over again. It's like the most reasonable angle to take it, because if the states or the regions, if they decide to go down that route, if they decide to do that, they will become self-reliant. This practice and habit and it goes with every human activity. If you now concentrate funds at the center and require everybody to always come, cap in hand at the end of the month to collect money, they'll become self-reliant and naturally feel lazy to even shore up funds with it, among themselves or by themselves, right? And these states we had our guest yesterday was saying exactly the same thing, that the states are blessed with rich human and natural resources, even human resources. But how many are using it, are tapping into it, except Lagos and a few other states? It's
a great point that your guest made yesterday. It's personal finance. If my expenditure and my lifestyle is gulping up majority of my salary, then I can't sustain that. So I have to cut down on my costs in order to maintain a family of 4, it's a normal thing. The fact that we are still talking about this today suggests that the government is not serious. The head of the ICPC, I think his name is Bolaji something, I can't remember his name. He was also there at the event. He said that corruption in Nigeria is one of the major reasons why the country can't move forward. He gives an example of hiring the wrong people, using nepotism. You hire a cousin or a family member for a position which they are not qualified for. That's an issue. If the government, this one that the president is calling for the salaries and wages committee, you can't ask the fox to guard the hen house. You can't review itself. They should get private people. I can't mention the company. I think I've said this before. There's a payroll company, a company that reviews payroll. They were telling me how they will never ever work with public sector again. One state in Nigeria, I can't mention the states, can't mention the company because it's public radio. I don't want to cause wahala for them. Told me personally that they were called, they didn't ask for it to, the states reached out to them, hey, please come and review our finances. He said one man was collecting salaries of 12 or 13 people. The situation that was plaguing the Jonathan administration, it is still here today. So if the president wants to be serious about merging ministries, departments, and agencies, if he wants to be serious about cutting costs, if he wants to be serious about really getting Nigeria on a fiscally responsible budget structure, they need to get Ernst & Young, get KPMG, get one of these international people to come and review your finances and cut down. Because, drive around Lagos now, look at these public houses and so on, drive around Abuja, look at there's such overlap with the ministries, departments, and agencies. And again, Buhari, if you check, and even on Freshly Pressed, go back when he entered office in 2015, a year, I think, it was within that year or 2016, he said he was going to merge X amount of MDAs together. It never happened. It wasn't effective. So we need a full-scale slash. Although this is the thing, if you do what Akaboise is calling for and what our listeners have called for, and even what Bolaji or Wasanoye, ICPC recommended, if you follow the Orasanoye report, there will be unemployment because you are essentially letting go of a large amount of your staff because there's that issue. Where do you now put them? What happens to them and so on? But at least let's start, right? Let's start, and if we start sorting this corruption issue out and making sure that you're plugging all the holes that where people are either padding budgets or collecting salaries of 12 people, at least pensioners will get paid. Exactly. We won't start seeing lists of deceased pensioners that are still alive. Exactly. We saw that BBC reports and some other things. And so these are, and I remember the other day I don't know if you saw that headline 2 days ago from a particular state that revealed a report that they saved over 600 salaries of 600 plus workers that were ghost workers. Yeah,
And we're asking how
big
is it that
problem.
you just discovered? Like, how is it that you're just knowing? And you've been paying these salaries. You never
Yeah,
did
thank
biometrics
you.
years after you decided to start doing biometrics because, oh, I piss. Anyway.
Why not again?
Benga Kombo sent in a message on WhatsApp. It says, can the measures proposed by Buhari on civil service reforms, is the federal government not setting up an agency to curb the proliferation of small arms? Rotus will dance around in circles. And he also adds, Robert Clark also proposed a 6-region unity just this past Sunday. Cisco Delgado says, we're tired of the implementation without actions. Let the president start civil service salary downsize for himself, the vice president, the House of Assembly, and then we can move on to the next. Yinka Bolu said, I was shocked when they said they were looking at merging 2 or more agencies with similar functions. I was like, Yekpa, so you know there's duplicity in functions and you kept quiet, practicing inshallah economics all this while. No wonder you don't have ICANN. We have NEBZA and OGFZA, both manage free trade zones, one for oil and gas, while the other is for non-oil and gas. Imagine that nonsense, he said.
Yep.
Tolu says, how about Rotus? You can mention international company, but not the local one. No. I won't cut soap for you today. Excuse me.
But fair point.
Yeah, fair point. Wenga says yesterday on radio, someone spoke about pension scams and corruption. She said in one of the eastern states, an old man was paid 700 pension, and out of it, 700 naira, you mean? And out of it, he paid, and out of the person he paid, the person collected 200 naira bribe. Benga, wow. All right, yeah. I think it's 700,000 and then 200,000 naira bribe. Baby says, Rotus on fire this morning, Giants of Africa call. Go back to 1963 Federation Bill of Independence Constitution. Thank you, Benito. Dami here says, cutting costs now is a double-barreled gun. First, it allows room for government to spend more money on healthcare, education, and security. Secondly, it reduces the pension bill when I become president in 25 years.
All that, in fact, pension, healthcare, security. Our cowboys mentioned education. Thank you, sir. Those you are essentially, with your bloated personnel and your bloated, liabilities, you are restricting funds from going.
Airflow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the insecurity situation around the country now. People are now. El Rufai said this thing 2 weeks ago. I know the PDP had some world conference 2 days. El Rufai said it last week. PDP also said it in a conference 2 days ago. Everybody now, man, again, I mentioned Cheta. Cheta has been, I think, been pushing for this for the issue of state police. He's been saying this now for as long as I've been following him on this station. They've been clamoring for state police, state police, state police. You still haven't heard the federal government say it. Now, the practicalities of that is that if you go to state police, the states themselves have to be responsible for their expenses. So, and a lot of, how many states outside of Lagos, Rivers, and Delta states are viable? So there's a long way to go. I mean, it's not going to be something that you just do overnight. But like you just said, Val, start the process. Start it and let people know. This is the reason why the trust deficit between the Nigerian citizens and the government is so low, or rather so large. Rather, the deficit is so large. They just don't. Every time you say these things, you become numb. How many times in the last 10 years have we talked about cutting cost of governance, cutting? How many people have called out and said NMP's National Assembly salaries, which are some of the highest in the world compared to other agencies, should be cut? So that's why I said yesterday, it becomes depressing, it becomes tiresome to just continue to talk about these things over and over. You might as well just go and talk about, Namibia or Kenya or South Africa. South Africa's budget deficit, I just saw it in the news a few minutes ago. Or I think it beats estimates. I mean, they are moving forward with respect to their budgets, and that's a serious country. Ramaphosa testified in a corruption probe of the Zuma administration. Yeah,
yes.
Him, and he came and what is his name? Boris Johnson is being probed over spending of remodeling his apartment in Downing Street. These are serious.
So they called him. He answered.
And he
was present. He was there. Yeah, so exactly. No excuses, no wheelchairs, no stretchers, nothing, exactly. Nobody putting on neck braces or trying to, pretend as if something else is happening that we don't know about. But Benga, thank you so much for making this clear. And I know, I think I need to remind us at the brink of time, right, that the fact that when we're angry like this and we feel like we're seeing things that shouldn't be, and it seems like our intelligence is being played on, we should transfer that energy into productivity, into doing the right things that we're supposed to do. And when I say that, I mean, go get registered. If you haven't gotten your voter's card, go get your voter's card. If you haven't regularized your information on the voters register, this is the time to do it. Channel that energy, channel that anger to getting yourself registered and making sure that your voter's card is secure, because that's the power we have. Yinka Bulu says, while Fireme was asking to go and touch our pension money, I hope it doesn't cost another thing that I wouldn't say here. Thank you so much for your messages. We're out of time, Rotus.
Thank you so much, Val. Thank you, everybody, for your messages. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Stay with us here on Smooth 98.1. If you missed any part of Business Express 981 with Rotus and myself, Valentine, please go back to YouTube, type Smooth FM Lagos, and subscribe and watch.
To you by EnterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on. First question of the day. Why do good girls go for bad boys? Is it because bad guys are more comfortable with their badness? Hey, gorgeous, can I buy you a drink? And good guys are